Hey everyone, CPO here, and in this video I'm installing this thing. This is the Evap skid from RH4X4. It's probably one of the easiest skid plate installs you're going to do. Take out the old one, put in the new one. At least that's what they say. Let's get to it. Oh yeah, and you'll notice this is orange. That's because I painted it orange a long time ago, like honestly, a year and a half ago. That's how long this has been sitting in my garage. Yeah, so my original intent, I was going to be a little bit frisky and paint my skid plates orange. I did this one and I thought, I don't really care that much, you know? So this one's orange, a little bit of splash of color underneath if you look underneath the Jeep, but I don't think I'm going to do the entire skid plate system. This was easy enough. But basically, if you're interested in painting these skid plates, they come black powder coated, and what I did is take a sanding block and sand down the powder coated surface, and then used an orange paint and just a rattle can paint. I forget what it was, some sort of a, I don't know, epoxy automotive paint, and bunch of light coats, painted it up. So anyway, you can do that if you want, or you can not. All right, so first let's take a look at what we're replacing. That's this guy. Happens to be right next to my exhaust because I have, you know, a fancy smancy customized exhaust, but normally you'd see your exhaust pipe coming out here, heads over the rear axle, and yeah, this is the Evap skid. There's a couple of spots here for these plugs. There's this one bolt here underneath, and there is a hole for that on the rock hard skid. And of course, if we look at the business end of this thing, you can see all of that. I do have my exhaust hanger tapped into that, just sort of a pretty shoddy job, but hey, it really works well. So that's something you probably won't see on yours. But the other interesting thing is, in order to remove the factory one, you can see here all of this Evap hoses go through this hole. So you can either unplug everything or cut this. I've seen guys just cut this off so that they can pull the hoses out. And honestly, as I sit down here looking at it, it'd be pretty easy just to use the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and just cut this section right here, and then this whole thing will be free to just bend up out of the way. So that's probably what I'll do. That looks like the fastest, easiest method, and I'm not going to be reusing this anyway, I hope. All right, look, there's some gas tanky stuff here. So even though I'm not worried about grinding right here directly, just keep in mind, you know, that stuff, and safety first, people. There we go. All right, so now that that's cleared, I can slip all this through there. I'm gonna pull that bolt out first though. And yeah, and then I gotta pull this guy, and then the other two on the front side. So 2 bolts on the front, 1 on the back, and 1 down below. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and zip off these bolts. This is a 13 millimeter. There is a nut on top, so you may yep, you may need to put a wrench up here, which I am having to do. It's also a 13 millimeter up top, and I don't really need a 1/2 inch impact for that, but it was convenient. I will not, however, tighten it with the impact, but I'm okay cheating to use it to loosen. All right. Now for this, we go ahead and loosen the one in the rear. And then these 2 in the front. All right, and what that allows me to do is pull this whole thing down, and then now I can push this up out of the way slip that evap right out of there, and that goes away. So it's pretty simple. And of course, this is my exhaust hanger, which you're not going to have, but little extra component on mine. Super easy, right? Yeah, it is. All right, here's a quick comparison: the rock hard 4x4 evap skid versus the factory tin can skid. So quite a bit more beefier, designed to handle rock impacts a little bit better. So it's basically just going to bolt up right in place. We're going to use the same hole and that little nut and bolt to attach the evap to the bottom of the skid. And then there is also this alignment hole here, those little plastic protrusions. You can see two of them on the factory skid. They're not pressed in, they kind of look like they're pressed in, but they're just used there to index and sort of stabilize it. So it's this and this that hold the evap in place. All right, for now, I'm just gonna set this just up in there, making sure that this bracket runs between the gap of those hoses. And I'll just hand insert one of those there, and I'll do the one in the front as well. Then I'll stick in this third bolt. So now I've got all three of my upper bolts in place. Next, what I'm going to do is get the evap aligned. Use the indexing hole in the back. And then this shouldn't be too hard to line up into that hole. Get the nut on top. All right, there's that. Now I'll go ahead and tighten these. And then now for me, I'm gonna have to remember to add in my exhaust hanger. Always get them started by hand before you hit them with the tools. All right, so there we go. That is the new rock hard 4x4 evap skid. It really is an easy install, and it's so easy. You should go do it right now, because nobody wants to have their evap canister ripped off on the trail. So anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.